No one ever got rich by saving money. You cannot earn your way to financial freedom. If you want to be financially free, you need to invest. The path to wealth is to set aside a portion of your money, invest it as soon as possible so it can begin to compound over many years. That's how you become wealthy while you sleep. That's how you make money your servant instead of being a slave to money. Welcome to the Wisdom Inspired Talks podcast. I am Yomi Akinpelu, your wisdom coach, speaker, teacher, and author of several books. If you're new here, please consider subscribing if you find the content useful. Today, I'm reviewing the Little Book of Common Sense Investing. This little book will teach you everything you need to know about passive investing from the grandfather of index funds, John Bogle. It is a beginner-friendly book. If you follow the steps and instructions in this book, it can make you seriously rich. With that said, let's dive right in. John Bogle says, this is the only way to guarantee your fair share of stock market returns. Jack Bogle is the founder of Vanguard and is considered to be the granddaddy of index funds investing. In a complicated investing world where the experts always want to sell you something and profit from your lack of knowledge, where there is a lot of jargon that you don't understand and figures that you can't wrap your head around, and financial advisors that don't have your financial interests at the top of their agenda, this book is refreshingly simple and gives you an unbiased explanation of investing. This book is so popular that there is a community of investors who live and breathe Jack Bogle's investment philosophy and regard this book as their investing Bible. If you know anything about investing, or if you've watched any of my videos on investing, you would have learned that the best way for the average person to invest is to put their money in low-cost index funds like the S&P 500. This book explains why you should do so. It is so much easier to follow through on the advice to invest in index funds when you understand why. When you know the reasons behind the index fund investing, you will not sell off your shares when the markets don't do well. In this book, Jack Bogle explains why index funds outperform other kinds of funds over the long run. The Little Book of Common Sense Investing by Jack Bogle explains the benefits of investing in index funds instead of actively managed mutual funds. It contains common sense approaches to guarantee your fair share of market returns instead of speculating on receiving higher returns from actively managed funds that usually cost a premium but underperforms compared to the index funds in the long run. So, index funds always have lower fees than actively managed funds. And when actively managed funds charge those higher fees, the returns they achieve are hardly ever enough to compensate for those fees. Over a period of 1 year, only about 29% of actively managed funds outperform the index of the entire market. Over a 5-year period, only about 50% do better than the index, and over 10 years, only 9% outperform the index. Over 25 years, only 5% will beat the market. Over 50 years period, only 2% of fund managers do better than the index. Jack Bogle says, performance comes and goes, but costs go on forever. This book also goes into details of which stock index funds and bond index funds to invest in, and also local and international stocks to invest in. The author lays it all out in a way that is really easy to understand. The investment industry is a huge money-making enterprise or machine out to make itself rich and not you, the customer. This book helps you to take that power back into your hands by teaching you how to invest successfully on your own. One of the best ideas from this book is that when it comes to investing, Simple works best. Jack Bogle's investing philosophy is simple and effective. Just put your money in low-cost index funds, buy and hold. But for unknown reasons, we human beings like to complicate things. We erroneously think that the more complex or complicated the investment is, the more effective it must be. This book is a poignant reminder that when it comes to investing in the stock market, that couldn't be further from the truth. The smartest thing to do is get out of your own way and let the market work its magic through compounding. Now, here is the thing. If you just invested in a simple index fund like the US Total Market Index Fund or the S&P 500 and just hold it forever, you will end up rich. However, that is so hard for smart people like you and me to believe. We think it can't be so easy. There must be a catch. It is good to be smart, but sometimes all that intelligence can be a stumbling block or a weakness. Smart people ask loads and loads of questions, trying to find the perfect stock and obsess over all the tiny details instead of just taking action and trust that the markets will do what it knows how to do best. That is, make money. Jack Bogle is the champion of index funds, and he says that instead of looking for the needle in the haystack, that is, that single elusive hot stock, just buy the whole haystack. The simple strategy of the index fund is to pull all the US publicly traded businesses at a very low cost. By doing so, you are guaranteed to capture all the returns they generate in dividends and growth. Trying to beat the market is a loser's game, says John Bogle. So why are index funds better than actively managed funds? And why did John Bogle base his entire career on them? According to Warren Buffett, returns tend to decrease as motion increases because motion is costly due to fees and taxes involved in trading. These fees and taxes are deducted from your hard-earned investment portfolio. That means that you have less money working for you, hence less returns. Also, the highly paid fund managers who are supposed to be earning money for you are actually costing you money to do a poor job. There are good actively managed fund managers, but they are hard to find. And if you had the skills to find a good one, then you definitely have the skills to manage your portfolio investments yourself. Basically, a fund manager is only good if the performance or returns they generate outweigh the expenses. Actively managed funds are horrible from the taxation perspective. Many people don't think about this. Investments within a mutual fund are actively traded throughout the year, and taxes must be paid on gains. Index funds, on the other hand, are fixed investments and don't buy and sell. Therefore, no tax is payable, and this is better for investors because they have more money working for them and compounding for them. Over a 35-year period, less than 1% of actively managed funds was able to beat the market by more than 2%. If you have only 1% chance of beating the market by only a tiny percentage, is it really a wise choice to bet on those odds? Even when your portfolio is losing money, you still have to pay the fees and the taxes if you invest in these funds, because taxes have to be paid if you make gains on all that trading. And even if you made losses, you still have to pay the fund manager his fees, which is basically paying for underperformance. One of the key things that John Bogle talks about is investing versus speculation. He says that you should always see the stock market as two different games happening at the same time. There are the real corporations in a real market making real money and providing real value, and there is the expectation market which relies on the expectation, the moods, and speculation of investors. The conclusion he comes to is this: that if you are holding these stocks or funds for the long term, then it's the economics that matters, not the short-term emotions. John Bogle spends time talking about the impact of taxes on the long-term and short-term investing. You pay a lot more on short-term investing. John Bogle also talks a lot about fund managers, money managers, financial advisors, and he makes it very clear that he's not a fan of these people because of the high fees. John Bogle's Vanguard has one of the lowest fees in the investing industry. John Bogle says, you can do a lot of what the fund managers do without having to pay the fees. And should you want to use a financial manager or advisor, he gives advice on this as well. He also advises that you should have at least 95% of your money in index funds, and the remaining 5% can be used for speculation or investing in single stocks, which he calls funny money. So here is the conclusion. Instead of looking for the needle in the haystack, buy the whole haystack. All in all, this book is a real gem and I highly recommend it. And that is all for today. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.